Who's with me? Tibula. Yo, you guys want my Tibula. Danny. Danny. Danny pulled your fanny. Danny. Nah, I was in Fishy's chat, and he looked like a whale. I was in Fishy's chat, and he looked like a whale. He's out there with me. What you guys up to? Like that stream. I appreciate you guys. Oh, come on with these damn horoscopes. Bullshit popping in. Danny, I tried over there. Yo, I couldn't pull a current and shit. Acting like I'm on drugs and shit. I think they're on drugs, hanging in streams, not lighting it up and shit. The fuck's wrong with these guys? As soon as I said I want to talk to a real channel with some real, they all shut the fuck up because I'm right. Need somebody got some subscribers to talk to. Need like a real channel to talk to. Don't ever make these guys your friends and shit, Danny. Remember my teachings, bro. These guys are worms, bro. They really are, bro. They're fucking worms. Treat them like worms, bro. Put them right on a hook and cast them out, bro. Danny. It's got 5 on it, y'all. I'll close over here, though. I don't feel like going back over there. Not a cook. I can do anything. Danny, where'd you guys go? Who's out there with me? Take a look. Guys, hit that cash app. You guys up to musical monetized chairs, man. And Dr. Fish be playing the win. What's up with you, buddy? What's your name, Vermont? I've never been to Vermont. I'm guessing your name has to do with your geographic distribution. I'm really from New Jersey, but I live in Iowa. It's pretty nice out here, bro. It's laid back. It's one thing I like about Iowa, man. They're not that bright out here. I've had incident after incident with people out here, man, because of their fucking intellect in this state. They're not that bright. I'm actually a field biologist in real life, even though I work as a cook. I'm a marine biologist. And we think differently than the average person. 100%. Just like my friend right there, my anadromous friend, Marone Sactolus. We think differently. It's okay, though. I'm not better than anybody and stuff. It took me years and stuff to become a biologist. Years and years of studying. Years. Do you guys like Donald Trump? Are you guys happy with Donald Trump? I thought he was going to make ham sandwiches affordable. You remember that shit? Like, yo, Trump, ham's a little expensive. Yo, I thought he was going to make a ham sandwich affordable. What happened, Trump? Fucking ham's not even real anymore, bro. Oh, you went to... Oh, good for you, bro. You're my endothermic poikilotherm. It's about time, man. We got some education in here. Good to hear that, bro. Good for you, bro. What state are you from? Are you from Vermont? That's pretty cool. I was just teaching marine biology a second ago. They all clicked out when they heard that college tongue kick in. They're not ready for it, I guess. Not bragging or nothing. When I start going off on skits and stuff, they click out and stuff. Oh, Vermont? That's pretty cool. That's definitely pretty cool, bro. I've never been to Vermont. I obviously am from New Jersey and stuff, but I never really went past New York and stuff, you know? I didn't really like New York. I lived in Philly before. It was disgusting. Baltimore is disgusting. It really is, bro. There's some bad parts in New Jersey too, man. If you got Camden, New Jersey, then you got Philly, right? It's a whole different world out there and shit. You know? How you like Vermont? It's pure. I hear you. I've never been out there. I hear it's nice though. I hear Maine's beautiful. That's one state I hear like not to mess around in is Maine and stuff. People go out there and try to go camping and think they're in their backyard and they're in the middle of Maine and it's not good for them. They have that trouble in Maine and Alaska. You'll read from time to time people walking the Appalachian Trail, bad things happen to them too. People don't realize that there's wolves and bears and stuff on the Appalachian Trail. They just think it's through one state or something. It's actually through a bunch of states. A lot of people die on that hike every year. I never did the Appalachian Trail, though. I would, though. You'd have to go with a hunter, though. I was always a sport fisherman and stuff like that. I never really wanted to kill an animal. It's not that I couldn't kill an animal. I don't really like deer and stuff the way it tastes. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, the cougars, too. See, I forgot about them. They're the ones you got to watch out for. You don't even hear them. That is one you have to watch out for. The silent killers. I've seen a bobcat before in real life. I've never seen a cougar and stuff. They say if you see them, it's too late. Like, you're not out running them. They're the ones you don't want to encounter, or the mountain lions. Rip you apart, too. Sorry about your dog, man. I'd have been mad as hell something, if I had it. Because I had a German Shepherd growing up, and he died on me, man. You'll never know they're there. I know. You'll never know they're there. You'll see their eyes, too. They'll watch you. Same with sharks, too. You'll never know they're there either. Their best sense is hearing. They can hear you from miles away. That's before their chemoreceptors kick in or their ampulla of Lorenzini. Oh, there really are amazing, this cartilaginous species, man. Their best sense is hearing. Then it's smell. There's certain species of cartilaginous sharks that can smell a drop of blood or a drop of blood in a Olympic-sized swimming pool. An Olympic-sized swimming pool is 660,000 gallons of water. A gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, let me find something real quick. Looking for my coffee. Well, it's chemoreceptors. It's similar. Oh, man. Where the fuck is my coffee at? Oh, there it is. Looking for my coffee, kid. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Who's out there with me? Talk to me. I'm here for you. Oh, yeah. And smell and stuff in certain species. Remember, there are 3 classes of living fishes. The jawless fishes, the cartilaginous fishes, and the bony fishes. They are distinguished from one another by the structure of their mouths and by the different types of skeletal structures they have. With cartilaginous species, it's chemoreceptors. They all can smell, guys. And obviously, in that 3-dimensional world of hide and seek that they're in the water, they will pick you up. You can be perfectly still in the water. That shark will still pick up your heartbeat. Absolutely amazing. I always was fascinated with sharks and stuff, but marine mammals are more interesting. Even a common dolphin's way more interesting than certain sharks. Sharks are unpredictable and stuff, but they're really clumsy and stuff, Certain species of marine mammals like orcas are they're no match for them at all. It's like a mismatch. Even a great white shark's no match, bro. You know what I mean? I know it's not right. In fishes, it's called chemoreceptors, and fishes detect various substances dissolved in the water. It's chemoreceptors. In marine biology and the 3 classes of fishes, when you speak of smell, it's never smell. It's called chemoreceptors. Exactly what you said. You said receptors. 100% right what you're saying. But it's called chemoreceptors in fishes. Oh, I seen a shooting star.
I'm sure you did.
Oh, no, it wasn't a fucking light dangling out there. It was a fucking Christmas tree light. Yeah, I seen a Christmas tree light dangle. It's pretty cool, yo. So what are you guys up to? Oh, yeah. I'm chilling out, guys. Staying out of trouble. Oh, yeah. And obviously, fishes don't smell like us and stuff, you know what I mean? Fishes don't smell like us and stuff because we have a respiratory system designed to breathe atmospheric air. We're endothermic, warm-blooded, give live birth. We have milk-producing mammary glands to nurse our young. Even in a dolphin's case, they actually have hair on their lower jaw and have a well-developed brain that they inherited from their terrestrial ancestors. Humans were carbon-based, bilaterally symmetrical. We're mammalian, amniotic, tetrapodal, cercopterygean, asthicthoan, vertebrate, cranial chordates. That's what a human is. 100%. Oh, yeah. Just with science and fishes and stuff, my mathematics wasn't that great even in school. Mathematics I struggled with a little bit till I had a professor once. He was teaching me mathematics, and he taught me to read it like a language. And he was very interesting, that professor. You know, it's a theory that we came from the soup and stuff. Just like they say certain species of cephalopods, and cephalo means head and pod means foot. With more than 800 species, they say that smartest invertebrates, nothing like anything on Earth. And I will say, it's a belief that cephalopods could have came from another planet or an asteroid. It's a theory. We get a lot of theories and stuff. Even when I was reading Charles Darwin's book and stuff, when he sailed on the HMS Beagle from 1831 to 1836, that 5-year voyage made him the most famous marine biologist of all time. Even though he was showing there's more than 168,000 species of moths, he was showing adaptations after that fire and how the moths were changing color. That's an adaptation. An adaptation is a characteristic that helps the organism survive in its environment or reproduce. He wasn't showing evolution. I studied Charles Darwin very thoroughly. His mother died in Shrewsbury, England when he was 8 years old. You know what I mean? But I will say this, his science was great though, but it is rumored that he was faking drawings and stuff. He was showing adaptations and stuff. You got to remember, you know, the theory of evolution, we're not going to worry about how this phone, it's big bang, it's in existence, but my phone's going to evolve. I can't agree with everything evolution says, but I do believe in gene flow, mutations, and evolutionary adaptations to an extent. Because in marine biology, we were taught evolutionary adaptations, not just adaptations, not just a Darwinian theory. We were taught how gene flow and mutations, well, mutations are usually deleterious and stuff, that meaning they'll kill you and stuff. Mutations are not always good. You know what I mean? I don't believe we had enough time to evolve either, but I do believe we are intelligently designed. Just like you probably heard, you sound like an educated guy. You probably heard of, you know, intelligent design, the old pocket watch saying how a pocket watch back in the day, they would have to sit and put those 10,000 parts together. They would have to intelligently design it, but now it's going to evolve. The shit they say doesn't make sense. It's a fallacy. Nothing working for nothing by nothing begot everything. It doesn't make sense. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but obviously we were intelligently designed. They'll say we came from a monkey, we came from an ape. That's not true and stuff. And you ask them guys, what's the difference between a monkey and an ape? They can't even tell you. And one of the main things I was even taught in marine biology was morphological features. And you should know monkeys have tails. That's the one way you tell the difference. A lot of people that get confused and stuff. You got to go back to basic science stuff. Morphological features. It'll always help you. And especially geographic distribution is very important. There are 3 commonly used criteria for classifying marine organisms: their geographic distribution, their evolutionary interrelationships, and their trophic interreactions. You can apply that to basically any animals and you'll get conclusions. You know? what is it called in humans? A quaddle? It has a name though, and the morphological features and stuff. I didn't go to medical school and stuff. Trust me, I could have memorized a PDR word for word if I did. A physician's desk reference. So basically, when you go to be a doctor, guys, it's not like one of these shows and stuff. You have to memorize a PDR and certain things. That's all the medicines and I was watching this channel. It's like an AI channel in a way, but it's this black lady, you know, and she gives you a lot of forgotten knowledge and stuff. And I really enjoy watching her channel. A water ape, huh? What do you think of Bigfoot? I don't think Bigfoot's real. I know about the Gigantopithecus and stuff. I'm sure you know about Gigantopithecus and the Archaeopteryx and certain things in biology, but I just can't roll with Bigfoot. There's no dead specimens. There's no DNA. It just doesn't make sense to me. And if you look up UFOs and people that get abducted by UFOs, you'll notice that a lot of them that see Bigfoot are saying they see UFOs too. It gets kind of fishy a little bit. See, I believe it's all demons. I believe what the Hopi Indians were looking in the sky, they were seeing demonic entities. I believe Greek mythology shows all the fallen angels and what they could do. Even Navajo legends, I believe it's interdimensional, non-human demonic entities, not intergalactic, extraterrestrial, biological entities. The whole world venerates Satan and logos and stuff. You guys ever wonder why all the logos are blue and red? It has to do with bloodlines and stuff. The Nephilim was Genesis chapter 6. That was the offspring and stuff. But I always found it fascinating. Yeah, I believe we're dealing with demons, though. Even that's why I'm about to say. You ever see how the logos are all blue and red? It's a basic biology thing they're doing. They're very clever. Even the Bible says, "He that winketh with his eyes and signal with his fingers is planning evil." And you have to watch what these guys do. They like to use the Greek alphabet. In side language, certain things they do. In car logos, they love the Greek alphabet. A lot of people overlook that because they probably don't know Latin or Greek, but they're very clever at what they do. Satan hides in plain sight. I'm not saying if something always goes wrong in the world, it's that Satan tripped you and stuff. What I'm saying is, with the blue logos and stuff, you'll see how it has more red on it than blue. It shows you which bloodline is winning. It has to do with hemoglobin and hemocyanin. The blue bloods. That's why the logos are blue. It has to do with hemocyanin. Just like horseshoe crabs are hemocyanin, they have blue blood. They lay 88,000 pale green eggs. But our blood is red because we have hemoglobin. It's an iron-containing pigment that transports oxygen in the blood. That's why your blood is red. So when you look at logos like this, there's a prime example. You see how it's blue and red? We know that the hemocyanin, the blue blood, own more of this RC Cola. It's letting you know ownership. When you look at logos, again, another blue and red. You ever wonder why they're all blue and red? They're very clever. I know I'm not a conspiracy theorist and stuff. I'm a man of science and stuff, and a man of God and stuff, and just certain things speak to me. Even as a biologist, man, we always thought different than other people. It's just certain things like that, how the logos look like that. There's a reason for it. It's showing ownership. People think the Illuminati and all this stuff, the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, all this stuff, it's all demonic. They gotta, their boss is Lucifer. When you read certain literature, even from the Freemasons and stuff, they straight up tell you, we worship Lucifer. Albert Pike wrote this in his book. He's one of the most famous Freemasons of all time, is Albert Pike. I was always fascinated with Albert Pike a little bit. General Pike, he was a Confederate general. He was very interesting. I'm not saying I got all the answers. I'm just saying there's certain things that are pretty interesting, bro. Tell me about the Australian kangaroos. Well, they're marsupials. We discussed mammalian characteristics. respiratory system. I'm not going to sound like a robot, but they're marsupials. For example, in the United States, the only marsupial is the Virginia possum. Say it, write it in your notebook. It's the only marsupial in the United States. The Virginia possum. Unless you got a kangaroo at your local zoo, then you got a marsupial. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. What are you up to, Cool Water Swiss? It's good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you in a couple days. I hope you're doing okay. I have to get some fresh air, man. It's a little hot in here. Mucho caliente. Gringo, mucho caliente. Gringo, poquito español. I can speak Spanish. I can't speak Chinese, man. I just can't understand the dialect. Chinese is difficult for me. They're like, and then they said, your cat just jumped over a fence and said hi. They'd be like, like it's difficult. So what are you guys up to? Where's Mr. Vermont at? Australia is a dangerous country. Even in England, they used to just send their prisoners there to die, I swear. That's why Bush people were crazy. You got to look at, even in college, we were taught origins of words. Australia is no joke, man. You got stonefish, you got blue-ringed octopus, and they call the great white shark out there, geographic distribution comes in handy. They call it white death. It's got different names. I'm only 60% bilingual, and I speak more of a Mexican dialect. I could speak Portuguese a little bit, too. Spanish is easy. Like, for example, fish in Spanish is pescado. El me llamo Señor Pescado. You know? For real. Yeah, that's Spanish. That's pescado would be fish. I'd like to go fishing in Vermont, man. Probably nice and remote out there, man. You live near a lake and stuff? I hear Vermont's beautiful, man. Fresh air out in Vermont, I hear. Oh, there's fresh air everywhere, you know what I mean? It's just pure out there, you know? It's not a lot of weirdos. I mean, there's weirdos everywhere. Just here, Vermont's nice, and Maine, too. There's some nice places and stuff. Maine's really nice, too. You could learn Spanish in probably 30 days if you pushed it, bro. It's really an easy language. You know what I mean? Spanish is really an easy language. They consider it the second most sexiest language. The first is French, meaning you can speak in a sexual tone. Remember when we were in college writing essays, purpose and tone, minor and major detail? It's the same with languages. French is considered the sexiest language, meaning you can be very sexual without trying by speaking in French. You know what I mean? My favorite band's probably Black Sabbath. If I had to pick a band, I'd probably roll with Ozzy, because Ozzy really is, like, he invented heavy metal, dude. You know? In Vermont, you can drink the water. I'd probably roll with Black Sabbath out of all of them. Ozzy Osbourne, as fucked up as he was, excuse my language, he really was a great vocalist. He was, like, the front man, and like, you could say rock and roll, metal, like, I believe he, their one song they started, I forget what he was doing. They were all looking out a window, and there was a movie playing, because he's from England again. You know what I mean? And he was watching some movie, and he got the idea for, I forget. I'd have to. It's not a fish. It's not my expertise. So it's not. Ozzy was swimming. You know what I mean? With Nessie. You know what I mean? With Wells catfish or something, I would know. You know, we're branching out of the water a little bit. It's not my expertise. You know, now if Ozzy, if I knew we were in London and they said Ozzy was going catfishing, he'd be going catching Wells catfish. You understand? Now, you like Slipknot? I hear you. They're a hard band, though. You know what I mean? They're well respected and stuff. They're a little, I don't know. The hardest I go is probably Metallica and stuff. Metallica is a band that I watched grow. Metallica, I will say that, Metallica never fell off. Even though some of their songs sound the same and they do certain things, I just liked Ozzy. Ozzy could be drunk as hell and you can understand him clear as day. I've seen him live before multiple times. I swear I did. In multiple states. Yeah, I like Ozzy. You know, Guns N' Roses is one of the only bands on this app, even on YouTube, that gets billions of views out of all the rock and roll bands. I swear, Guns N' Roses is the only one that outviews everybody. Do you know? Even Michael Jackson, Thriller, and stuff. There's songs like November Rain and certain songs like they're the only rock and roll band that gets billions of views out of everybody, even over Black Sabbath and Ozzy, Led Zeppelin, any of them. If you type in November Rain or you type in you type in certain Guns N' Roses songs, they outview everybody. And I realized the answer to this was because a lot of Mexican descent and a lot of Spanish descent like Slash. So that really kind of helped because you read their comments. Like you go type in November Rain, you'll see it's got billions of views. Go start reading their comments. It's hard to find an English comment. That shows you how global Guns N' Roses was as a band. They were touching people in Mexico were literally waking up listening to Sweet Child of Mine or November Rain. They're one of the most popular bands. I'm not the biggest Guns N' Roses fan. I think Slash is one of the best guitarists because the way he could sound like with love, like he would affect people. You know? I truthfully think one of the best guitarists is probably Jimmy Page. Some people like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Some people like Brian May. I thought Jakey Lee was good. I liked Eddie Van Halen and stuff. If I had to pick, like Jimmy Page in his prime was really amazing too. Some people think Eric Clapton's the best. Some people think Jimi Hendrix is the best. You know, I put Jimi Hendrix was. You know what was unique about Jimmy was he could play left-handed, and Jimi Hendrix was his own band. Like he was the singer too. That was what set Jimmy apart from other guitarist because he actually could perform while he played. He wasn't just how you don't ever see Slash singing. Jimi Hendrix was holding that guitar and singing and stuff, just like I believe Chuck Berry would too. Chuck Berry's another great guitarist, but I'm more on the lines of like Slash too. I think Slash is one of the best. I just like the way he would sound. Like there's that old saying, everybody understands the Guns but nobody understands the Roses. You listen to bands like Guns N' Roses, in my personal opinion, without Slash, I think they would have sucked. I understand Axl's the man and a famous front man and stuff. His voice was kind of annoying after a while. And without Slash carrying them, there's just better vocalists. No disrespect to one of the biggest bands. What do you guys think of backmasking? Oh, Chuck Berry's. Remember Little Richard? They robbed him, didn't they? I was researching him, dude. They stole all his music. I didn't realize how much Little Richard really did to music. Mike Jackson sold him his catalog back. Gave him all his songs back. You know who's not taught or spoke of a lot these days is James Brown, and it's a shame because he was the man. He was even Prince's influence. I swear, people will look at Prince and Michael Jackson and stuff, and they forget about James Brown. James Brown was one of the ones that set it off and stuff. Prince even moved like him. Prince used to look in the mirror and listen to his music and mimic him. He would even come out in purple suits and stuff. It's because of James Brown. It was his influence. Look it up if you guys don't believe me. That's who inspired Prince. And I like Prince. And I think Prince is one of the best musicians and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I didn't like all his songs and stuff. It's just, he could play 20 instruments? He was just an interesting guy. Maybe a little eccentric, but we're all eccentric. But I will say this about Prince. He was pretty interesting. You studied rock music? What's your opinion on backmasking? Backmasking's when they play the music backwards. What's your opinion on it? I heard Led Zeppelin played backwards. They were saying there's power in Satan. I heard it with Britney Spears. They were talking about... That's what scares me. And we were discussing the bloodlines on the can and stuff. Start playing these guys' music backwards. They're all talking about Lucifer and stuff. They're not talking about ducks or tunas and stuff. I don't know if he stole the Beatles' music and stuff. You got to remember, we're speaking of Michael Jackson here, the legend of all legends. You got to remember that. Whether you don't like Michael Jackson or whatever, I'm 41 years old. There hasn't been a celebrity in my lifetime as popular as Michael Jackson. Even Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, The Weeknd, and Michael Jackson in his heyday. In my personal opinion, these guys are on that Madonna level and stuff, because Madonna was it when I was growing up. But Michael Jackson was above Madonna. Mike was on some other shit. Michael Jackson's the celebrity of celebrities, entertainer of entertainers. These guys all team up and do Super Bowl shows with all of them. Mike used to come out dressed like Captain Crunch and do it himself. Absolutely amazing, Michael Jackson. He really is. One of the best I've ever seen. The best I've ever seen. But don't get me wrong, I think Taylor Swift's really famous, though. I think Taylor Swift's really famous, though. She's really hot, huh? I seen her in an outfit the one day. She was wearing like a red dress. I didn't realize she was that pretty and shit. Taylor Swift's kind of hot, dude. I had no idea. Yeah, Michael Jackson was really big, though. I'm not saying I was the biggest Michael Jackson fan and shit. But he had a lot of... You got to do the research on Michael Jackson. He had a lot of problems with Sony. Tommy Mottola, I believe. They wouldn't play his music and stuff. You got to remember, unfortunately, in the world we're living in and stuff, they would unfortunately try to hurt black artists. They wouldn't play their music against white people or other stuff. Unfortunately, some people are racist and stuff. Until one white guy picked up the phone one day and said, yo, you got to start playing Michael's music or I'm going to expose you. And all of a sudden, Michael was moonwalking on TV, and after that, they couldn't hide him anymore. It all came down to a couple white guys holding him back. Do your research. Michael Jackson was on TV before calling Sony Records the devil, man, on live television. I swear to you, he was saying Tommy Mottola is the devil. Wasn't that Mariah Carey's boyfriend? I swear Mariah Carey was with that Tommy guy I'm speaking of. You know? Well, they said Michael had like a skin disease, or who knows what they did to him, man. Couldn't even recognize him at the end. He looked like Peter Pan or something, man. I felt bad for him, dude. You ever hear Cat Williams talk? When he had that big bell pepper nose, we supported him. Remember, he was right, though. Michael Jackson had 2 kids, and they came out white with blonde hair and blue. That doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense to me. Cat Williams called him out on his shit. Cat Williams is the best stand-up comedian, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think he's one of the best I've ever seen. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. He was another great comedian. Real good. Oh, yeah. Says, think about music. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking about it. Who's your guys' favorite guitarist? Who you guys think's the best out right now? Well, we know Taylor Swift probably sells more than anybody. You know, and just in Australia alone, with her merchandise, sells more than a lot of these rappers today. In Australia, selling a little bag of hers, she'll generate more money than your favorite hip-hop artist, guys. Who mumble, like this mumble rap bullshit today is pathetic, dude. I guess I was spoiled when I grew up with Nasty Nas and Biggie, or even Jay-Z when he was coming out. He was all with Biggie on his CDs. Then you had like Puffy in the background making noises and shit. Remember? Every time you hear a Biggie song and shit, you hear Puffy. Why the fuck did he call him Puffy and shit? Can you imagine calling a grown man Puffy? Oh, come here, Puff Daddy. Like, that's just weird to me, bro. It really is. Sabrina Carpenter, I've heard of her. I don't know many of her songs, though. I know exactly who she is. She's very famous, though. You guys think Katy Perry's pretty? I think Katy Perry's kind of hot. She can sing too, Katy Perry. My personal opinion, and I'm not trying to offend anybody in any way, I think all the best women singers are black ladies. I'm sorry, guys. I like Taylor Swift and all, but I don't think she was anywhere in that realm of Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey. Or even Toni Braxton, or even Donna Summers. You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to music and stuff, my personal opinion, black women are the best singers. Hands down. You know? Hands down, bro. The best singers, bro. Yeah. Hands down. I'm not trying to say anything to sound messed up. I'm a very educated Christian guy and stuff, but 100%. Oh, I think the best singers are all black women. 100%. You got to think of the white ladies. Who do we have? We got Celine Dion, who always sounds the same and depressed in her music. You got Madonna, who, you know what I mean? Like, it's like no comparison, really. And I'm not saying there's not good lady white singers and stuff. Like, not like certain women I like. I watched Whitney Houston do the Super Bowl song in a tracksuit before, bro. Straight up. I watched Whitney Houston do some crazy stuff, bro. It's a shame what drugs did to her, man. Because I liked her. I thought she was one of the best. She's truthfully one of my favorite singers and stuff. Don't mean I'm gonna ride around listening to Whitney Houston and shit. People probably think I'm weird. You know? Yeah, but I liked her, dude. Remember Toni Braxton? She was pretty entertaining to watch. Who was that one chick? What was her name? Cynthia Lauper or whatever? I swear when Madonna came out, bro, she put her out of business, didn't she? Madonna growing up was she was the number one number one female artist in the world for many years, guys, was Madonna. I like Madonna. I always thought Madonna was alright. But today, the music has changed and stuff. Even Alicia Keys is a great singer. Look what color she is. My personal opinion, all the best singers are black women. Mariah Carey. Ain't none of these singers. I respect Taylor Swift. I respect Katy Perry. And they're not on that Mariah prime level. They're not even fucking close. Mariah is probably old as shit right now, and I guarantee you she could outsing any of them. She'll hit notes that they can never hit. 100%. Her and Whitney could hit notes that these guys could never hit. And Mariah and Whitney were singing to people of all ages, not little young girls and stuff on their little farm tractor or something. Like, these women were worldwide too. I'm not taking it away from Taylor Swift or any of these guys, but to compare them to Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston's kind of a far fetch for me. You're taking the greatest singers of all time. Mariah Carey, I'm not the biggest Mariah Carey fan or whatever, but that lady can sing, dude. 100%. Like I said, Celine Dion kind of sounds the same and shit and depresses you and stuff, but Mariah could switch. She can make you happy. She can make you sad. Whitney could do the same thing. Toni Braxton, too, is another overlooked singer. And Donna Summers. I put Donna Summers above these guys, man. I like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. I think they're cool and all, but to say they can sing as well as Donna Summers is kind of a far fetch, guys. It really is. 100%, dude. The Pointer Sisters were no joke. I'm trying to think of a white lady that can keep up with Mariah Carey and Whitney. I can't think of one. I really can't. Who's that one country lady? Sings the Monday Night Football song.
Faith Hill.
Faith Hill. She's a good female white singer. But to compare her to Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey, I don't know, man. It doesn't matter what color I am. Picture me being clear, you know? I just call it how I see it. I really do. Ariana Grande is a good singer. That's somebody we have and stuff. She's an Italian lady. She can mimic her voice too. You ever hear her do it? I swear, Ariana Grande can change her voice. She can sound just like Celine Dion. I always liked her. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean I go buy her CD or whatever, but Ariana Grande is a natural talent. She can actually sing. 100%. Rihanna, is it Rihanna or Rihanna? That's another one that's real good. And what color is she, guys?
Biracial.
She's a black lady, man. And she's good. She's great. Again, man, my personal opinion, all the best singers are black women. 100%. Look at them. Write it down. Write down 10 white ladies, then write down 10 black ladies. I'm going to roll with them 10 black ladies. 100%. Any day of the week. Especially when you're starting off with Whitney, Mariah, and Donna Summers, man. That's, good luck on that other list. Don't get me wrong, Taylor Swift sells more than anybody, though. But Mariah Carey in her prime was being robbed, though. I remember that. They generate more money than they'll say Mariah. It's because Mariah Carey was being robbed of her money and stuff. They were only paying her, what, $200 million when her music was generating billions of dollars? They were robbing her. 100%. That's why I always use Mariah's songs sometimes, even in clips, they do better. Mariah. I likes Mariah. Mariah Carey was hot too. Wasn't she married to Nick Cannon? That guy, Nick Cannon's a pretty cool guy, yo. I know you guys probably think he's a geek or he's actually a really cool guy. He doesn't pretend to be a rapper. He was always a TV personality. I mean, he was married to Mariah Carey and shit. Like, you gotta hand it to the guy, yo.
Who's that, Nick Cannon?
Nick Cannon, man. He looks good in the suit. He's a clean-cut guy, man.
And he has 10,000 kids.
Yeah, he's got like 10,000 kids. I ain't no gay guy or nothing, but like the guy's a clean-cut looking guy. They can say whatever they want about Nick Cannon and shit. I guarantee he's turned down more cheeks than you guys would ever get. And I swear he has. And I respect him for that, yo. You know what it means? He was Mariah Carey's husband? Like, that's some legend shit, bro. That's some bragging shit. He was the best singer of all time. Taylor Swift probably would come. She stopped in this live stream when she never would. She would say Mariah Carey's a better singer. I don't know. I just grew up with Mariah Carey. I think music today kind of sucks, in my personal opinion. I don't like this little rap shit. You got every fucking white kid confused of their identity. Again, I'm not a racist guy. I just told you all the best singers are black women and shit. I don't understand, like, these white kids and shit trying to be a part of a culture that hates them and shit. They're trying to act like you know what a hot comb on a Sunday morning smells like and shit. Like Denzel was saying, man, it's like culture vultures in a way. Let them have their culture and shit. You guys aren't hood or ghetto and shit. Like, what are you doing? That's coming from a guy that lived in a real hood in North Philly, lighting it up on Kensington Ave walking. You guys be scared to get out of the car and shit. Like a real hood. Where you're walking in and it's actually, you see the signs and it says city because it's a real city. You guys be scared to fuck to get out of that car at night right now. If we were in North Philly, you'd be scared to get out of that car. Philly's got to be the dirtiest city I've ever been to. It's fucking disgusting. Fucking needles in the street. They sell weed in vials out there. It's fucking everywhere out there, bro. Fucking crack pipes in the street. In the wintertime, the rats are frozen solid in the street. Like, there's so many rats in Philly, it's disgusting, bro. I really didn't like living in Philly. It's disgusting. Most disgusting city I've ever been to. New York's cleaner, but it's just like the people, like they're just weird, dude. That's coming from a Jersey boy. The East Coast is a lot faster than out here with these hillbillies. And that's another reason I make it out here, man, is that fast East Coast way of thinking. Little faster out east. And I lived in like the Pine Barrens in New Jersey and stuff, you know? What are you guys up to? Appreciate your guys' conversation. You guys are some good people stopping in. Where'd my marine biology buddy go? Guy knew his stuff a little bit. It's nice hearing receptors and chemoreceptors in the chat. You barely ever hear that. It's kind of got to dumb yourself down sometimes when you stream. Not a lot of people know what a chemoreceptor is, or a chromatophore, or endothermic poikilotherms and stuff, or even what an ectothermic organism is. So it's very difficult. I always fascinated people with my fish knowledge and stuff, and I'm kind of holding back tonight. I don't feel like teaching. Just want to hang out and shit. If you guys watched me for a week or when I was teaching and stuff, you guys' outlook of me would change. You hear that knowledge and stuff. You know what I want to learn how to do, babe? Grow potatoes. I want to start learning how to grow potatoes and shit. I'm going to be a farmer. You guys respect farmers? I respect farmers, I guess. Farmers are very important. See, in marine biology, we're having a lot of problems with certain things of farming. It's called DDT. It's a pesticide. And the plutonium, see, a lot of you guys don't know this because you guys probably haven't studied marine biology or the ocean. About 60 to 80 years ago, the United States and many countries in certain parts of the ocean where they're allowed to dump illegally, they dumped plutonium in the ocean. And right now, in 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, these things are really becoming even more radioactive and unstable, and eventually it's going to become biomagnified in marine organisms, and that's not good. Even in the Bible it says a third of the sea will die. With them putting the plutonium in a dangerous pesticide like DDT in the water, it's going to kill everything eventually. The oceans it's like a ticking time bomb. There's not much life left in them, in my personal opinion. Biomagnification is no joke. Like, for example, out of the fish species and the rayfin fishes with more than 30,000 species, the highest in biomagnification with mercury, which has the highest surface tension, second is water has the highest surface tension, it's tile fish. Tile fishes have the most mercury in them. And they get it in their myomeres. That's the part you consume. You ever hold a piece of fish in your hand? You're holding its swimming muscles. It's not a fillet. It's called its myomeres. And through biomagnification, that myomere will get infected. And it could be DDT. It could be plutonium. It could be other hard metals such as mercury and other trace elements you'll find biomagnified in their myomeres when you consume them. And it's not a good thing. Why they even invented DDT fathoms me. Like, they just sat around and invented it to dump it in the ocean. You know, that stuff's going to affect your kids someday, what I'm saying to you. That plutonium they dropped. They tried to drop it and stuff. So we're years later now, and it's starting to take its toll. You're going to hear of all the things dying soon. You can't just magically take plutonium out of the water. Even gold is in seawater. You can harvest gold right from the seawater, guys. It's called atomic gold. Say it. But the cost of getting the gold out of the water and certain things, it's not worth it and stuff. That's why we don't try to harvest it and stuff, you know? My favorite fish is probably the largemouth bass. Micropterus salmoids with birth swimming speeds of 12 miles an hour, a lifespan of 16 years, sees the world as if it's looking through a pair of yellow sunglasses and can distinguish among 24 different shades of color. Members of the sunfish family with 32 to 38 different species. Males construct and guard nests, pan-shaped, body of the fish compressed vertically. Rough-edged tenoid scales, two-section dorsal fin with spiny rays near the front. Most prefer warmer water temperatures of 70 to 85 degrees. Micropterus salmoids spawns in 1 to 3 feet of water when the water hits 64 degrees. Say it. A female Micropterus salmoids can hold 7 to 14,000 roe. That's my favorite fish. Then Goliath grouper. I like Goliath grouper too. I think they're pretty cool. I like the mahi-mahi. I like a fish species called the rooster fish. They're pretty cool. Geographic distribution would be the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of Mexico has it's basically, well, it's the Gulf of America now, but it's 618,000 square miles. And there's certain fish species in that geographic distribution that are found nowhere else in the world. Even like, for example, like I'll give you an example. During colonial times and stuff, we have something called the Gulf Stream. We call them rivers in the sea. Benjamin Franklin recognized that the British ships were crossing the Atlantic Ocean faster than American ships. Then he started recognizing these rivers in the sea, and the American ships started riding on them and crossing the ocean just as fast, which I find absolutely amazing. Benjamin Franklin really was a genius. Benjamin Franklin, when he died, had a net worth. In our today's money, he would have been worth almost $15 billion. Even George Washington was our richest president before Donald Trump. In estimated times, George Washington, if it wasn't for Donald Trump, George Washington would have been our richest president with a net worth of $535 million. Absolutely amazing. And they were buddies, too. I think George Washington's the most interesting president out of all of them. There's a lot of interesting stories with George Washington. How he got shot he literally got shot before and it didn't even kill him. Like there's a lot, really research that man. He's the most interesting president. He really is. Out of all of them, I swear George Washington's very interesting. Alligator gar. Oh, man. Alligator gar, more geographic distribution, be more of Texas. I believe there's 7 to 9 species of gar. Basically typical fish characteristics. For example, the roe of the spotted gar is poisonous. Oh yeah. Gar are pretty cool fishes, man. The alligator gar is a nasty looking fish too. Yeah, alligator gar, no joke. Paddlefish too are pretty cool. Certain fish species that are definitely interesting. I never caught an alligator gar though. I would like to catch a gar. You got to go to Texas for that. Texas is one of the best fishing states in the United States. And in our states where we live, other than Florida, even like the largest largemouth bass was actually caught in California. It's named Dottie. But if you look, they're breaking a lot of records lately in Texas. Texas is where it's at. I got to jump off here though, guys. This phone's dying and stuff. We lit it up multiple times and stuff. We'll be back on.